Hello and welcome to Americans Learn. My name is Lauren and today I'm going to be looking at another video from Irish in Finland. This one is talking about ancient Finns and the Sami in Skyrim. Question mark. Honestly, my experience with Skyrim is that I was really bad at it. I know that must be shocking to people, but the one time that I attempted to play Skyrim, and like I said, I've tried once, God, a really, really long time ago, I was babysitting and, yeah, so we made my character, and then they told me follow the guy with the arrow. And so I spent a while following around a random archer because he had arrows. And then they were like yelling at me that I was doing something wrong. And I stopped to be like, wait, well, what is going on? And then they're like, your health bar is going down. Your health bar is, I was like, I could not find the health bar. Could not have told you where the health bar was. Didn't see it going down. I was standing in fire, just standing in a fire that the dragon had left. Yeah, and then I eventually found the guy I was supposed to follow. I discovered the only thing I was good at in that game was lockpicking, and then I never played again. That was my experience with Skyrim. I know a tiny bit about it in general. Like I've seen, not necessarily playthroughs, but I've seen like things here and there. I'm not totally ignorant to the world of Skyrim. But this one was suggested as sort of like a companion to one of the Lord of the Rings videos that I did by Irish in Finland. So, I mean, and again, I really liked the last couple of videos I've done by him. I think he's a very soothing voice, and I'm fascinated to learn about like this Finland. I have not learned too much about Finland in general. So I think it's very interesting, and I really like learning about the mythology of it all, and I cannot wait to see what he's going to tell me about this. So thank you to certain channel members. Thanks to our Dibs members, to Joe Fravel, Dragon Eye, and Pterodactylus. We really, really appreciate it. Thanks to Jerry Grow, and like we've got some really good members over here on the Americans Learn channel. So we can continue to grow with your help. We really do love and appreciate you. If you are not currently in a place where you can support us financially, you can still show your support by leaving a like, a comment, subscribing to the channel. Let me know what I should look at next. And without further ado, let's find out about the ancient Finns and Sami in Skyrim.
Follow me on Instagram or TikTok. If you follow me on Instagram,
I don't, but I should.
Or TikTok, you will realize. If you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you will realize, yes, I am a massive Elder Scrolls fan. I make short videos relating how I live in a Nordic country to the Elder Scrolls world. And I love doing that.
Cool.
It's just funny, having a laugh. And in fact, when it comes to short videos, you know, I just want to have a laugh. Really, that's it. But anyway, the Elder Scrolls, the game series. Look, it doesn't take a fool to notice that Elder Scrolls is my favorite game series of all time. When I was 12 years old, Oblivion was my first Elder Scrolls game, and I got immersed. Okay, immersed. Done.
There's a lot to get immersed into. It makes sense.
All of a sudden, I'm just staring at this screen, walking around in this world, falling in love. Okay?
Fair.
Now, this whole past year, people have been onto me because they follow me on Instagram, they follow me on TikTok, and I make those Elder Scrolls videos, and they say, please make Elder Scrolls content on your YouTube channel. And I was always thinking to myself, yeah, but what do I do? What do I do? The answer actually was in front of me the whole time. The whole time. See, if you play the Elder Scrolls games, you'll realize that it's very similar to our own world. The races, let's say history, things like that. But it's not very clear. And that's the beauty.
There's dragons and elves and...
So in this new series,
there's some weird stuff in
on my YouTube channel,
games, yeah?
And by the way, the other content is going to keep coming out the way it is. This is a new series that I want to do. I want to try and find references. Maybe there's things in the Elder Scrolls that we can say is, hey, that's just like this in our world. In this real world that we live in, we can pinpoint things and say, that is definitely what the creators got inspiration
I like that
from,
idea.
as
Very
many
good
of them
idea.
as we possibly can. And I think today's video, the first episode, is going to be a big one actually, and a pretty good one.
Oh, I'm really glad I'm seeing the first episode first. Yay! I see things like this out of order so freaking often. So I think Pterodactylus, I think they suggested this to me. So I'm really glad that I'm getting to see this normally. Like, at least first, in order.
Our first subject, or actually subjects, are found in Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, on an island called Solstheim. Now, Solstheim is an island located northeast of Skyrim and northwest of Vardenfell.
This is a very Nordic-looking village.
Elder Scrolls Skyrim DLC Dragonborn. Now, the Dragonborn is the protagonist that you are called in Skyrim.
Cool.
Now,
okay.
the geography of this island needs to be talked about for a second, because it's very much like the actual playable area of Skyrim, okay? Where the more north you go, the more Arctic the climate gets, the more south you go, it is a very ashy, barren landscape. Now, on the northeast of this particular island, we can find a group or a society called the Skald. And they are culturally and religiously different to their counterparts in Skyrim. You see, this particular society are Nords. Nords is a playable race in Skyrim, in the Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
But these are different. They
killed a walrus.
They have a different way of life. In appearance, the Skald are clearly of Nord ancestry. However, they are culturally distinct in several significant ways, the most notable of which is their faith. Having never adopted the pantheon of the Empire, the Skald recognize only a single deity whom they call the Allmaker. Within Skald culture, the villagers are provided according to their need, as the Skald have little resources of their own. Because of this, theft is punished by exile or sacrifice to the wolves. Those who are
I feel like there was a long time where theft, like, almost everywhere was practiced, but like death. Like, there was like a lot of places that you steal something, you're probably gonna get executed for it.
exiled are to never be aided by the Skald again, even in their most dire need.
That's
When they
rough,
are
though. That exile thing, that does sound bad. It's like, I mean, that's basically a death sentence, but also it's like you can't talk to them ever. Like, there was, I read a book series where something like that happened, where like the one character was like, considered defiled or something by their tribe, so that like the tribe wouldn't talk to them. Like, they weren't allowed to talk with them. They weren't allowed to acknowledge that they existed. Like, it was this whole like thing, and eventually this character, I think, managed to get back in the books by like saving the lives of a whole bunch of people from that tribe. But like, if you can't be spoken to or helped by, you know, that sucks. Like, that's a really difficult punishment, I think. But it does make sense for like someone, if you're a thief and it's like you already have limited resources, it's like, well, there are going to like, no, we can't. That actually makes perfect sense for a thief, for that kind of punishment, I guess, if that makes sense. I feel like it doesn't. I feel like I'm not making any sense. My point being, I've read stories, I've heard about things like this happening in history for real, and it does make perfect sense as a punishment. And I'm glad that they've included it in Skyrim. I think that's cool. It's good world building.
Though, it is believed that the spirit is purified and reborn. When young men of the Skald come of age, they are tasked with killing a Draugr, single-handedly to prove they are fit to be a man of the Skald.
Isn't a Draugr...
Now, the Skald follow a couple of strict laws. The
like a zombie,
aforementioned
basically?
being one of them, theft. The other being that a member of the Skald should not attack another member unless in self-defense. The Skald themselves have strict punishments for members of the Skald committing these crimes. But if a non-Skald is guilty, their punishment is always death. Now, the shaman of the Skald is tasked with guiding and healing the fellow Skald, while also keeping the traditions of the Skald intact. These include respecting nature and honouring the Allmaker. Another part of Skal culture involves the Ristag. The Ristag is a ceremony in which the land is blessed and cleansed, and it is only performed rarely. In order to summon the beasts needed in the Ristag, the Skal use the totem of Claw and Fang. After acquiring the totem, the members of the Skal summon beasts and perform the ritual hunt to please the Allmaker by showing him the gratitude of the Skal for his gifts. This particular ceremony takes place around nightfall, and if this ceremony fails or does not succeed by daybreak, the Allmaker is displeased with the Skal. To officially end this ceremony, the heart of the spirit bear must be taken to the Skal shaman. Now, in regards to hunting, the Skal follow a specific mindset. First, they ask themselves if they need to kill the animal they are hunting, as the oneness of the land is preserved by only taking what a hunter needs. As such, the Skal do not hunt for sport, but solely to survive. They consider each animal of the land to have a right to live as they themselves desire. When the
These
Skal
are a
have
cool
obtained what they
group
need,
of people.
they thank the beasts.
Also, I do keep forgetting. I'm like, ah, yes, I'm learning something. I was like, oh, right, this is a group of people in a game. Who's he gonna tell me that they're like based on though? Like that's what I can't wait to find out, because I'm like, this is fascinating.
For the gifts. As the less the Skal disturb the beasts of the land, the more they honour the Allmaker. The oneness of the land is believed by the Skal to be what provides them with power. The oneness of Solstheim is the balance of the land, the trees, waters, wolf and the bear. The balance is ensured through the standing stones of the island. As such, the Skal attempt to live in harmony with the land, taking only what they consider necessary. So guys, that was a little run through of who the Skal are. And I was playing Skyrim a couple of weeks ago. And I was playing the DLC, Dragonborn. I went to the island of Solstheim because that's where your quest leads you to go. And then your quest also leads you to get in contact with these particular people, the Skal. And I remember I paused the game when when I reached the Skal village, because I just remembered who these people were, what this society is. And if you're a new subscriber...
Okay, like, I'm going to assume he's going to say the Sami, because that's in the title, but I am not entirely sure.
Okay, to this channel, you know, or anybody knows that I mean, it's the name of the channel, I live in Finland, okay? I make videos about history, mythology, culture, right? And recently I have been really into Sami culture. Reading about it, trying to get to know it, the mythology of the Sami. And like I said, I paused my game and my jaw nearly dropped. I went, oh my God, these guys are the Sami, aren't they? Because, okay, let's look at the bigger picture here, okay? Skyrim, the main area that we play in what is known as Elder Scrolls Skyrim, okay, is based on northern Scandinavia. Actually, Scandinavian.
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
Mythology, you know, Nordic lands, okay?
Like I said, I have very limited interaction with Skyrim. I was just like, it's a fantasy realm. That was what my general thought was. So that's really, really cool information. Just that the whole thing is based on Nordic, like, geography and culture. I think that's really cool.
What Skyrim is. And in this very northern part of Skyrim, we find this group of people who are at oneness with the land, who are just a little bit culturally different than their own fellow Nords, but they live in a seclusion. They worship animals. They think that the oneness of the land is all about how you get through life. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this is the Sami people. The Sami people of northern Scandinavia. This has got to be a reference. And even more so, to get a little bit more in depth, there's even a group of Sami people called the Skald Sami.
Oh my god, wow,
So
okay.
not only do we have the Skull here in Elder Scrolls, we have also the Skald Sami people in real life.
Okay.
Now,
They
okay,
just yanked that, didn't
take
they?
of that whatever you want to, okay? But to me, that is a clear reference. It's got to be.
I think
But
it has to
within
be.
the Skald Sami, the shaman was important in their society, and some shamanistic healing rites are still performed today within the Skald Sami. Let's take a look at the skull again from Elder Scrolls, and what we have, the shaman is the main person of the community. Now remember what I said about the skull when it came to hunting. Well, they only hunted because they needed to, not just hunting for sport, no. They're hunting because they need to. They believe that in nature and animals and in everything there is a spirit and a soul. Well, the Sami in our real world see a divine spirit inside everything, from the arrows they fire to the creatures that they hit. Hunting
That's
and
nice.
taking the life of a greater god required due respect and worship, and men made sacrifices at sacred sites. And actually, here's just something I just realized while making this video. The Sami
tell.
have their own sacred sites called Sedas. Okay? These sacred sites, sacred groves, sacred rocks. What did I say about the skull? They have these sacred stones where they go to worship and to leave sacrifices. Now, just like I said at the very start of this video, this is the beauty of the Elder Scrolls, because people living in the Nordic countries, in northern Scandinavia, or in all of Scandinavia, will probably say, yeah, okay. The Skull are, and it is very clear that the makers of the Elder Scrolls clearly based the Skull on the Sami people.
That's so
But
cool.
let's go over to America. They're probably
okay.
thinking, oh, wait a minute, I think they kind of reference to the Inuits.
Native Americans, or I was thinking Inuits. I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking Inuits, but I was like, but it's not about this. It's not about me. It's not about what I'm thinking. I was like trying to see where he was gonna go with it.
Yeah, you could make a case for that as well. But that's the beauty of the Elder Scrolls.
But the thing is, though, if and I don't know a lot about Inuit culture, but I would say that if the rest of Skyrim is more based on a Nordic, on Nordic culture and like that area, then it's more likely that this group of people is based on more of the Sami than Inuits. Just based on if the rest of Skyrim is in fact like Norse.
There's not just one clear picture of like, this is exactly this. Because at the end of the day, it is its own world, and that's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of it. But I just think, like I said in this video, guys, when I was playing this game and I came across the skull again, like I said, I paused it. My jaw dropped, and I said, how didn't you think of this before? Like, you have to remember.
As into it, like the same way.
Like
I like
said,
that.
guys, Skyrim is based on Scandinavia, northern Scandinavia, 100%. The lore of Skyrim, the lore that we find in it, is clearly based on Norse mythology. You can see it. So to find this group living in the northern part of Skyrim, who are their own little society, they do their own thing. Like, yeah, we are like them, but we're not really like them. Like I said, my jaw dropped.
Yeah,
It's
no.
the Sami people, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Okay? Listen, let me know in the comments what you think, and let me know if you like this series, because it is something I'm going to keep on doing when I find bits from... God, I need to play a lot of games actually to find some bits actually, I just realised. But guys, let me know in the comments
I
what
have to
you
play
think.
games.
I would love to know what you think. Do you think the
That's
Skull
cool.
are basically the Sami people? Have I made a big enough case for you? Maybe? Have I? I don't know. Have I not? I don't know. Do you like this series? Do you like this idea? I'm thinking it's given me an excuse to play more Elder Scrolls. So that's always good. And like I said, if you're not a fan of this part of my channel, that's fair enough. That's fine. Don't worry. The other content will still be made. This is just something that I'm adding because, well, I like it an awful lot. So anyway, guys, leave a like, leave a comment. Don't forget to press subscribe. Thank you very much.
Okay. Honestly, I don't know. I would still say I don't know quite enough about the the Sami people themselves, and I don't know enough about Skyrim to actually make that particular decision on my own. Like, I don't know, it's quite possible. Like I said, I also did think about like the Inuits and also like Native Americans. I'd like various things like that when he was describing some of the actions of the skull people in Skyrim. But like I said, but he does make a good case for it. These are the ways that it works in Sami culture, and if all of Skyrim is based on Norse mythology and like Nordic tradition, then yeah, I guess he makes a strong case. It makes sense. And again, it is interesting to like you hear about certain like punishments or whatever that were used in certain like cultures, and it's originally, and if you at first blush it seems really harsh or awful, but then like you think about it for longer than like 20 seconds and you're like, oh, you know what, actually makes perfect sense. If they're going to steal from a community that has so little, they do not deserve to be a part of that community. Like, I can get it. I 100% understand like the methodology and the thinking behind certain punishments like that, that again, we might think of as too harsh or cruel and unusual or something, but it does make makes sense. I get it. And again, I do find it interesting to learn about this kind of thing. And again, I don't know much about Skyrim, but I'm always interested in learning more about it. It seems like something that I would really, really like story wise, because I love story based games. So it is something that maybe I could give it another shot at some point. Now that I'm not like 15. Just because again, I think I would enjoy the story aspect of the game. And so again, thank you to Irish in Finland for creating a very cool video. He made this one a year ago. I'll look through the channel and see if there's more like stuff from this particular series. And if there's other videos that you would like me to look at, go ahead and let me know. Because like I said, I've been enjoying myself with these videos so far. So thanks again, and I will see you in the next one.